with the Trabant across the Pacific. From Perth to Kalgoorlie using the deserted road Holland Track. After a month of waiting in the port city of Perth, we hit the road and headed eastward to the Australian outback. All our machines underwent overhauls. Therefore, we hope that they will last as long as possible in a movable condition, even if they are not the youngest and most modern. The oldest of all is my Jawa 250, which is 58 years old and could retire in the near future. In South America, it worked the best of all the cars, and in 20,000 kilometers, only my rosette and the bulb in the rear light broke. But in Australia, on the very first day of driving, 200 kilometers from Perth, it decided to not go on any longer. I was panicking about the motor, and here, at the beginning of a great journey, and for the first time in 26 years, I seized up. I went very last in our yellow convoy. On the long straightaway, I decided to overtake them, so I gave it a full throttle. After a few seconds, my rear wheel swerved and I had my hands full to keep myself on the motorcycle. I did not know what was going on, and I hoped that it would only be a broken rear brake cable or something similar. I really did not guess it would be the engine because I always considered the Jawa as being immortal. After a few minutes, it was possible to restart the motor, but the sounds it made were not the happiest. It's dark, and we are not wasting time, so we discussed the Jawa on the road. Huge road trains go around us and blow away from us every screw we put on the ground. Finally, the problem was not so disastrous, and only one piston ring broke. But still we preferred to change the piston and cylinder for a new one, as we still had more than 20,000 kilometers in front of us. With the new engine, I am afraid to add more than a quarter tank of gas, and therefore we get to the turn to the Holland Track at night. You would not believe how cold it can be in Australia. The thermometer drops down to 1 degree Celsius in the morning. Good thing we took sleeping bags up to 10 degrees. In the morning, we are defrosting in the sun. A really challenging journey that was originally designed for gold mining that occurred in its surroundings is expecting us. Cars with deflated tire pressure have paradoxically no problems, but Dominica on a CZ cannot handle the fine sands and crashes repeatedly. Radek is taking her place without fear, even though he has no experience. As he says, "Fear and money I never had." We spent the first night at the Holland Track about 40 kilometers from the beginning because our speed is comparable to the maximum speed of a koala. The reason could be that on the board before the road was written 4x4 only. The second day we covered more ground, but as speed increased, also damages increased. The Trabant with the manual control lost a piece of a mudguard, but since the whole body was made of plastic, it can be easily fixed with American tape in a few minutes. Malucha lost his drive shaft, but we also quickly repaired it. In the worst condition is the CZ. Dan, Radek, and Dominica are alternating on it, and I have a feeling that they are playing a game of who will fall more times. The CZ also plays its own game with itself and tries to see what else can fall off so it can continue to work. The third day on the Holland Track was really rough. We did not expect to be here for so long, and we are running out of supplies of food, fuel, and especially water. We take water from puddles, so we have something to cook beans with, and especially tea. We also have a manual water filter, but when we used it, we found out it takes so much sweat and energy that it is not worth it. Therefore, we only boiled water and flavored it with black tea. On the fourth day, we really had to get to civilization. This day, Dominica and Radek fell badly off their motorbikes. I was afraid that something happened to them, but fortunately in Australia, gravity seems to be working differently, and both got away with only bruises. I liked it the most when half-dead Dominica asked me between tears if I recorded her fall. That's the most important thing, and I'd rather not turn off the camera in bad terrain. The last 20 kilometers separates us from the city. Tired, destroyed, and dirty, we pour the last of the petrol into our cars, and we hope to get there. It's nice again to see what it's like to enjoy the asphalt and an ordinary petrol station where you can buy something good to eat. Refueled and fed, we celebrate like crazy even though it's only 1/20th of our journey. We continue another 40 kilometers to the town of Kalgoorlie, where one curious couple came to us and said, "We have never heard the sound of two-stroke in a car." They liked it so much that they allowed us to sleep in their house, and especially put together the CZ. Tomorrow, we continue further east towards Alice Springs.